If you love zombie games, this year is looking really good. We've got a bunch of upcoming titles that are bringing fresh ideas, better visuals, and more intense survival gameplay. From open-world chaos to story-focused horror and co-op experiences, there's a lot to be excited about if you're into the genre. So in this video, we're going over 20 upcoming zombie games you shouldn't miss. Let's get into it. Resident Evil Requiem is shaping up to be the big one in 2026, dropping on February 27th across PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, and even the Switch 2. This is the 9th mainline entry, and Capcom's throwing us into the radioactive ruins of Raccoon City with a brand new protagonist, Grace Ashcroft, an FBI analyst investigating her mother's death. And yes, Leon Kennedy is back, playable alongside Grace, with each character offering different gameplay mechanics. The game lets you swap between first-person and third-person perspectives, which is huge for fans who loved Village but missed the classic RE feel. Honestly, it looks like Capcom's blending nostalgia with next-gen horror, and if they nail the atmosphere, this could be the scariest Resident Evil yet.
Second opinion. レオンのゲームプレイは圧倒的な緊張感のある戦闘、RE4 から進化したサバイバルアクションになっています。トマホークという斧を装備しており、それによるパリができます。シューティングっていうのが中心になってくるので、さらに洗練されたガンプレイっていうところにも力を入れてますね。また V を狙って、敵に体術を決める。それから敵が持っていた武器を奪って利用する。どの敵をどの部位を撃つのか、またどうやって倒すのか、そういった戦略を立てるのが面白さであり、それがうまくいった時にさらにカタルシスが倍増する、そういったゲームプレイになっています。
Liminal Point is one of those indie horror titles that feels like a love letter to Silent Hill and Resident Evil, but with its own twisted identity. Developed by Hideworks, it's set on a fog-drenched island called Ashen Point, where you play as Lyra, a former rock star haunted by the disappearance of her bandmate. The vibe is pure psychological horror. Misty streets, cryptic notes, grotesque creatures, and that constant feeling you're not alone. It's story-rich, cinematic, and promises multiple endings, which means replay value is baked in. The trailers show a mix of exploration, survival mechanics, and zombie-like horrors lurking in the shadows. It's not AAA, but it's dripping with atmosphere. And honestly, this could be one of those sleeper hits that horror fans rave about for years.
Isn't that why you're here too? Did you forget what happened on that night? This place remembers, and so do I. I'll be waiting, so come and find me.
Ill is the kind of game that makes you squirm just watching the trailers. Built by Team Clout, it's a first-person survival horror shooter that leans hard into grotesque body horror. We're talking photorealistic environments, dismemberment systems, and enemies that look like they crawled straight out of your worst nightmares. The devs are promising reactive environments, meaning the world itself feels alive and hostile, not just the monsters. It's still TBA, but confirmed for PS5, Xbox Series X/S, and PC, and every demo so far has been brutal. Like, you can practically smell the rot through the screen. If you're into horror that's less campy fun and more disturbing realism, Ill is going to be your jam. Just don't play it alone at night unless you want to rethink your life choices. Now for something completely different, John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. This one's pure co-op chaos, dropping March 12th, 2026 on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. The setup? A scientific experiment to harness Earth's core energy goes wrong, unleashing the Sludge God, which turns soil into sludge and people into zombies. So naturally, you and your buddies are hired mercenaries tasked with saving the world. It's got Carpenter's fingerprints all over it, campy 80s action vibes, over-the-top gore, and a soundtrack that slaps. Expect semi-open maps, vehicles, and full crossplay, so you can squad up no matter the platform. Honestly, this looks like Left 4 Dead meets Mad Max, and if Carpenter's humor and horror mix lands, it could be one of the most fun zombie shooters of the year.
Look! More sludge shit!
God Save Birmingham is one of the strangest but most intriguing zombie survival games coming in early 2026. Developed by Ocean Drive Studio, it drops you into a painstakingly recreated medieval version of Birmingham, England, where a mysterious plague has turned the townsfolk into the undead. The hook here is realism. Physics-based survival mechanics mean you're not just fighting zombies, you're battling hunger, thirst, exhaustion, and even tripping hazards. It's gritty, brutal, and unapologetically British, with a sandbox design that lets you craft, scavenge, and improvise your way through the nightmare. Honestly, it feels like Peaky Blinders meets DayZ, but set in the 14th century, and if the devs nail the atmosphere, this could be one of the most unique zombie experiences of the year. Blight Survival is medieval horror turned up to 11. Developed by Hainer Studio, this PvE action horror lets you team up with up to 3 friends to battle through plague-ridden lands. The twist? The Black Death isn't just a disease, it's a zombie virus, mutating peasants and soldiers into grotesque monsters. Combat is brutal and melee-focused, with swords, axes, and bows replacing guns, and stealth mechanics giving you options beyond hacking everything to bits. The world is dark, atmospheric, and unforgiving, with bandits and rival survivors adding human threats to the mix. It's basically Plague Tale meets Hunt Showdown, and if you're tired of modern zombie shooters, this grim medieval setting is going to feel refreshingly terrifying. Nakwon Last Paradise is Mintrocket's big swing at multiplayer zombie survival, and it's already turning heads. Set in post-apocalyptic Seoul, this PvPvE game forces you to scavenge resources at night while managing your shelter during the day. The city is crawling with zombies, but the real danger might be other players, since betrayal, ambushes, and competition for loot are baked into the design. It's third-person, action-heavy, and built for tension, with stealth mechanics and co-op options that make every run unpredictable. Mintrocket, the studio behind Dave the Diver, is known for polish and creativity, so expectations are high. If they pull it off, Nakwon could be the next big social survival game, blending the paranoia of DayZ with the intensity of Left 4 Dead. The Twilight Project is shrouded in mystery, but what we do know is pretty exciting. Developed by Teapot Studio, it's a third-person survival horror inspired by Resident Evil and Silent Hill. You play as a tourist who gets lost in a forgotten village, only to discover that reality itself starts warping as night falls, and terrifying creatures, zombie-like horrors, emerge. The game promises a cinematic story, psychological tension, and a unique horror theme that blends supernatural dread with survival mechanics. It's still rumored for 2026 with platforms confirmed as PS5 and PC, but the teasers already show eerie environments and unsettling enemy designs. If the devs deliver on the atmosphere, this could be one of those cult classic horror titles that fans talk about for years. Phase Zero is one of those indie projects that feels like it's trying to reinvent the zombie shooter formula. Built around surreal environments and experimental mechanics, it's not just about mowing down hordes, it's about navigating strange, dreamlike levels where the undead are more than just cannon fodder. The devs are teasing fast-paced combat with a heavy emphasis on atmosphere, so expect neon-soaked corridors, distorted sound design, and enemies that feel more like nightmares than traditional zombies. It's PC only for now, and while details are scarce, the buzz is that Phase Zero will lean into psychological tension as much as action. If you're tired of cookie-cutter shooters, this could be the weird, stylish horror trip you've been waiting for.
Phase Zero.
Ontos is Frictional Games' highly anticipated sci-fi mystery thriller, set to release in 2026 as the spiritual successor to Soma. Ontos places players in the role of Aditi Amani, who journeys to the eerie moon base Samsara, a repurposed hotel steeped in cryptic experiments and the legacy of her estranged father. As reality fractures around her, players must navigate unsettling encounters, morally complex choices, and a narrative that questions the very nature of existence. Featuring Golden Globe winner Stellan Skarsgård among its cast, Ontos blends atmospheric exploration with psychological tension, weaving deception, memory, and identity into a chilling story. The game promises immersive world-building, cinematic storytelling, and Frictional's signature blend of dread and philosophy, challenging players to confront disturbing revelations while unraveling the ultimate question: what is reality?
You want to understand, to know. Then you have to step beyond the walls surround you. Play your father's game. Push the very limits until you're in reality itself breaks.
Graft is Harebrained Scheme's newly announced sci-fi project slated for release in 2026, and it's already generating intrigue among fans of narrative-driven strategy games. Developed by the studio behind Shadowrun, Dragonfall, and Battletech, Graft teases a futuristic setting that may connect to the Shadowrun universe, though details remain deliberately cryptic. The announcement video hints at a world where corporate power, identity, and technology intertwine, suggesting a blend of tactical gameplay and philosophical storytelling. Executive producer Mike McCain, returning to Harebrained after his acclaimed work on Battletech, is leading the project, ensuring a pedigree of deep strategy and narrative complexity. While specifics on mechanics are scarce, the studio's track record points toward turn-based tactical systems enriched with branching narrative choices, likely exploring themes of human augmentation and societal control. With Harebrained's reputation for atmospheric design and morally layered plots, Graft is positioned as a thought-provoking, genre-defining release that could rival the studio's past successes when it arrives in 2026. Hunger is all about scarcity and desperation. This PC-exclusive survival horror drops you into a bleak, minimalist world where resources are almost non-existent. You're starving, the zombies aren't, and every decision feels like a gamble. The gameplay focuses on scavenging, crafting, and managing your dwindling supplies while navigating hostile environments. The art style is stripped down but haunting, emphasizing atmosphere over flashy visuals. Early previews suggest it's less about action and more about the psychological toll of survival, how hunger gnaws at you while the undead close in. It's dropping early 2026, and if you're into hardcore survival experiences that make you sweat every choice, Hunger is going to hit hard.
We are but beasts, unworthy of salvation.
Valor Mortis is aiming to be the blockbuster zombie action game of 2026. Built as a large-scale survival shooter, it mixes cinematic storytelling with squad-based combat. You're not just a lone survivor, you're part of a resistance force battling waves of infected across sprawling maps. The devs are promising dynamic weather, destructible environments, and a progression system that lets you upgrade both weapons and squad mates. It's coming to PS5, Xbox Series X/S, and PC, and early previews suggest it's trying to capture that epic war movie vibe, but with zombies instead of soldiers. If you've ever wanted Call of Duty-style intensity blended with horror survival, Valor Mortis might be the one to scratch that itch. Cinder City is pure urban apocalypse. Set in a burning metropolis, the game drops you into neon-lit streets crawling with the undead. The hook here is verticality. You're not just fighting on the ground, but climbing skyscrapers, navigating rooftops, and using the city's collapsing infrastructure to your advantage. It's third-person, action-heavy, and promises a mix of exploration, crafting, and brutal melee combat. Coming in the second half of 2026 to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, Cinder City looks like it wants to stand out with its atmosphere. Think Blade Runner meets The Walking Dead. If the devs nail the visuals and pacing, this could be one of the most stylish zombie games of the year. Hollow Stories Lockdown is an upcoming neo-retro survival horror noir game from developer HoloSense, set to launch on PC in spring 2026. Set in a corruption-ridden 1990s city plagued by cults and conspiracies, the game blends classic survival horror mechanics with puzzle-solving and tense exploration. Players must navigate shadowy streets and sinister interiors where every corner hides secrets and dreadful enemies, forcing them to balance resource management with uncovering the truth. Its noir aesthetic and retro inspirations give it a distinctive atmosphere, while modern design ensures immersive storytelling and challenging gameplay. A demo is already available on Steam, offering a taste of its unsettling environments and narrative hooks. With its mix of crime, cults, and psychological dread, Hollow Stories Lockdown promises to deliver a haunting experience that recalls genre classics while carving out its own identity.
What the hell did you get yourself into?
Ritual Tides is the debut horror title from Vertpaint Studios, a team of industry veterans from Rockstar and TT Games, set to release on PC and consoles in 2026. The game strands players on a fictional British island steeped in Lovecraftian dread, where they awaken on a desolate beach with only one goal: uncover the island's terrifying secrets. Designed as a first-person psychological horror experience, Ritual Tides emphasizes atmosphere, exploration, and narrative tension over combat, pushing players into unsettling encounters that blur the line between reality and nightmare. The developers describe it as a genuinely memorable odyssey, combining cryptic storytelling with haunting visuals and soundscapes. Early teasers and gameplay reveals highlight claustrophobic interiors, storm-lashed coastlines, and eldritch rituals, all crafted to immerse players in a world of escalating paranoia. With its pedigree of seasoned developers and its focus on Lovecraftian themes of isolation, madness, and cosmic horror, Ritual Tides is positioned as one of 2026's most intriguing horror releases, promising a chilling journey that challenges players to confront the abyss.
There is no escape from the man behind the light.
The Revanchist is an upcoming narrative-driven RPG from Theorycraft Games, slated for release in 2026, and it's already being described as one of the most ambitious new IPs of the year. Set in a dark, war-torn fantasy world, The Revanchist explores themes of vengeance, power, and survival, immersing players in a society fractured by political intrigue and supernatural forces. The game promises a blend of tactical combat, branching storylines, and player-driven morality, where choices shape alliances, betrayals, and the fate of entire factions. Early teasers highlight its cinematic presentation, richly detailed environments, and complex character arcs, positioning it as a spiritual successor to classics like Dragon Age and Baldur's Gate. With a focus on deep role-playing mechanics and emergent storytelling, The Revanchist aims to deliver an experience that balances strategic gameplay with emotional narrative weight. Backed by a team of veteran developers from Riot, Bungie, and Blizzard, the project is expected to push boundaries in both world-building and interactive storytelling, making it one of the most intriguing titles on the 2026 release calendar. Canyons is an upcoming third-person co-op shooter from Red Ruin Softworks, the studio behind Breathedge, set to release in 2026 under publisher Hype Train Digital. The game drops players into a harsh, procedurally generated desert world where survival hinges on teamwork, resource management, and battling mysterious enemies known as the Awakened. Designed for solo play or up to 4-player co-op, Canyons lets players command massive vehicles called crawlers, build fortified havens, and scavenge loot across a chaotic wasteland. Its diesel punk aesthetic evokes comparisons to Mad Max and Fallout, blending gritty visuals with fast-paced combat. Red Ruins promises a mix of exploration, base building, and tactical shooting, with emergent gameplay shaped by the unpredictable environment. A recent gameplay teaser showcased tense firefights, sprawling desert landscapes, and cooperative mechanics that highlight the game's focus on replayability. With system requirements already listed and anticipation building, Canyons is positioned as a bold, atmospheric shooter that could redefine survival co-op experiences when it launches in 2026.
Looks like a couple defiled over there.
Beautiful Light is a PvPvPvE tactical first-person extraction shooter from Deep Worlds SA, scheduled for release in December 2026. In this intense multiplayer experience, 6 squads of 3 operators compete to infiltrate hostile, horrific environments, secure powerful artifacts, and extract them while facing both rival teams and unpredictable player-controlled anomalies. The game emphasizes squad-based tactical gameplay, where every decision, whether engaging enemies, managing resources, or navigating supernatural threats, can cost players their lives and gear. With its blend of PvP combat and PvE survival horror, Beautiful Light promises a dynamic, high-stakes atmosphere that fuses military realism with post-apocalyptic dread. Customizable weapons, realistic survival mechanics, and eerie supernatural elements set it apart from traditional shooters, while its extraction-based design ensures replayability and tension in every match. By combining competitive intensity with horror-driven unpredictability, Beautiful Light aims to deliver one of the most distinctive multiplayer experiences of 2026. They Left Us Here is a psychological sci-fi horror game developed by a solo creator from Greece, set aboard a derelict space station drifting in silence. Players awaken in the labyrinthine corridors of the station, where locked doors, cryptic puzzles, and haunting remnants of the vanished crew create a tense atmosphere of isolation. Through scattered notes, logs, and environmental storytelling, the mystery of what happened slowly unfolds, blending survival horror with narrative exploration. The game emphasizes atmosphere, puzzle solving, and psychological tension rather than combat, immersing players in surreal environments that blur the line between reality and hallucination. With its first-person perspective, story-rich design, and eerie sci-fi setting, They Left Us Here promises a chilling experience that recalls genre classics while offering a unique indie vision. Currently listed on Steam as coming soon, it has already drawn attention for its unsettling trailer and demo, positioning it as a standout indie horror release to watch in 2026. And that's it for our list of 20 upcoming zombie games. Let me know in the comments which one you're most excited for, and if we missed any games you think deserve a spot. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe for more gaming content, and I'll see you in the next one.